better make sure I'm in tune. And I'm gonna get my footrest. Try to get my neck there. My hand looks huge. Look how big my hand is. Ooh. All right. Let's see here. Battery. Oh, no, battery not dead. Well, maybe the battery's dead. We'll see. Oh, right. This is a giant headstock. Little fun. Really only going to be on the E. So you only need to tune the bottom two strings, right? I don't see the D string anywhere on there. So it's going to be kind of a review of the A string, and we're going to learn the E string. And it's a fun progression to play over. Oh, I gotta. I'm editing the bass because the bass is MIDI on this song, and so I don't want it to sound too MIDI. It's kind of in the background, so it should be fairly easy to hide. The guitars are the feature, and the guitars are live. Are what they are. But this, I thought, oh, you know what? It would sound good to go to the fifth there. Let's see. But I also don't want, I got the high notes louder than the low notes, and I want the low notes to be louder, so I have to just adjust this a little bit. Anyway. Add a, what does that go to? A, I just go down to here. Oh, now I gotta make that short. So anyway, I'm here. In body anyway, not my mind's not here. Alright. Save. Close this for now. I am going to release this. I may do it soon. It's a little bit more expensive to do it the way I'm going to do it on CD Baby. But I have a CD Baby account, and I've never released anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release that Django song. Sorry, that song. Just release it as a single. I think I can go back later and kind of group everything as an album, but I'll probably do that first, and then I'll probably do a fingerstyle song. I have a song that like fingerstyle stuff I wrote for. I've got several, but I have to record it. Right now my nails jacked up, so I don't know. I've got one that I wrote for Emma called Emma Lou. I think it's called Emma Louise, Emma Lou. And I may record that one. They're a little on the difficult side, and with the fingerstyle stuff, I don't really think I can punch in on those. I might be able to, but it's really difficult. You really have to. It's like a classical piece, same thing. And that would probably be one of my other ones. There might be a rock tune on there, but basically, it's going to be a very eclectic offering. But when I do it one song at a time, it probably won't seem that way. But if I release a whole album and you went and downloaded it, excuse me, you'd probably be like, "Oh my gosh, he's all over the map," because I'll have some weird atmospheric track. There may be something that just sounds like film score music, and then there'll be a rock tune, and then there'll be a gypsy jazz tune, and then there'll be a classical piece. So if I release them one at a time, it doesn't sound like I'm schizophrenic. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Hey, Bruce, Holly, good to see you. Scott Jacobs, an appreciation. Good morning. Scott's practicing for his getting his Oscar. triathlon, I'm good. I got my run in, I got my swim in, I got my coffee walk in, so all before 9 a.m., all before 8 a.m. to be honest. Trying to be like I'm in the army. Remember, was it Jerry Seinfeld? It was like, we do more before 9 a.m. or than you do all day. And Jerry Seinfeld was, that's supposed to be a selling point. This is brilliant. So, hey George, good to see you. Good afternoon. Oh, so you must be at least in New York. I'm in Los Angeles, so it's 9 a.m. here, or 9:07. Holly's in California with me. I don't know if she's burning, but it's pretty warm here, 90 today, but it's not bad. The house is, the AC hasn't even kicked on. Our house is very well insulated. Always recommend, if you're going to spend money on anything, spend it on insulation. Let's see, Gary, good to see you. God bless you taking care of your folks. That's like I messaged you in the 10 Commandments, the real 10 Commandments. The first commandment with a promise is honor your mother and your father, and I will extend the days of your life. Not me personally, but God will. So I don't know if you want to live longer, but some of us don't. That you're honoring your mother and father by taking care of them. Trust me. So Bob Schumann, it's good to see you. Jeff Height, good to see you. Boy, I think everybody's here because it's a holiday for most of you all. Hey, Lizzie, good morning. We're going to continue talking. We've been doing, how many weeks have we been doing this? Again, now we're down to 1 day a week. So we're down to 1 day a week. I almost logged on yesterday and did a jam session. I would have had 4 people to do a jam session yesterday. Just didn't get around to it. I started grilling, and you know how that is. It just starts getting, just kids jumping in the pool and all that. So we ended up not jamming yesterday. It would have been fun. Maybe I'll do a special broadcast. Have Alex over and we'll talk and play a little bit to answer questions. Also, could even have it could be interesting. Not that I have a lot of viewers, but we could also have Alex's friend Blake and his wife Jess, and they're expecting their first in a few months, and they just are working on their second record together, so they could maybe come and do a song or something. I don't know. They were here yesterday. That's what made me think about, they should do a song. So Holly is talking to the other girl on the live stream. It's like, another girl. Hi, how's it going? Why are you hanging out here? Okay, so we're gonna start talking about this low E string, and it is tough because you got these ledger lines. And remember, the ledger lines are just extending the staff. It's just the staff continuing down to get to the note that you're playing. And they do it because it's a lot. You only want a staff to have 5 lines, because if it had, look, for that E, we'd need 8-line staff. Well, if we had 8-line staff, you wouldn't be able to find notes in the middle. You would have no idea where you were. 5 was pretty much where they limited. I'm sure they experimented. At times, back in the day, they probably experimented and said, what if we had 6 or 7 or 8 or 9? And it just made it too hard to read notes in the middle of the staff. Like, wait, where am I? You're having to count all the time, and it just didn't make sense. One of the tricks that I use when I'm reading is oftentimes I will read the intervals, not so much the note, which means I will read the distance between the notes, not so much the note itself. That requires you to know what the distance between E and F is, and F and G and A, and so on and so forth, or A and C sharp. You need to know those distances, those are intervals. But I think that may have come about because of sight singing and being in choir. When I was I learned to read as a kid with Alfred's Basic Guitar Method, which I could say, I'll give you a link if you want to do some supplemental reading. You could. I'll pull up a link for that, because it's not a bad little book to get, not expensive, and it can give you something to kind of take yourself through. As an adult, you can totally do it. I used it when I was teaching all the time with little kids, because, a 12-year-old kid has a taste in music. They know I really like Nirvana, or I really like Jimi Hendrix or Led Zeppelin or whatever. But a 7-year-old kid, parents who want their 7-year-old kids to take guitar lessons, so they'd bring them into the studio where I was teaching, and I was like, what do I do? So I would get, get them to buy Alfred's Basic Guitar Method, and well, if they have a piano method, well, that makes sense. And yeah, $7. So FYI too, just if you go to where's the link? Here we go. If you go to Amazon through this link, you can bookmark this link, and if you go through it, all your shopping, I get a little like royalty from it, like anywhere from 1% to 5% of anything you buy there. And I know several of you do that, and I thank you for that. It adds up. It definitely adds up. So there's that. Let me pull up the Discord link. So if you're new, you can join the Discord group where, thankfully they don't just talk about me, but there's some supplemental thing. If you're creating music, if you're playing songs, you can post your videos there, and everybody shares their what they're working on, their journey in music and guitar. But they also talk about everything from parents and fishing and whatever. I'm talking to you, Gary. Promo Star, what's going on? Hello again. Boy, girls rule. Yes. In my household, that's true. Well, when I grew up with 2 sisters and a mom, so I had to drink Tab. We didn't have Coke, we had Tab. That was the original Diet Cola, and it was awful. And they still sell it. You ever had Tab? Isn't that the worst? Tab is the worst. Ugh. Yeah, this is a very nice guitar. This is a Del Arte, made in San Diego. Beautiful. Look at that maple. Isn't that just gorgeous? That's called Tiger Stripe Maple. It's a beautiful guitar. This is my Django guitar. See, it's got this bridge is actually, this is not connected. This is just for, it doesn't actually, I was curious when I originally saw these guitars. I thought, oh wow, that's a really wide bridge. It must affect the tone, but this is not connected. There's a seam right here. So this is just for appearance. And so basically this whole lesson here is only on the E string and the A string. We're going to learn E, F, and G, and we're also going to learn F sharp and G sharp, okay? So I did put B flat there, so well, and also we're going to learn A flat and G flat. A flat's another name for G sharp, and G flat is another name for F sharp, and when you're descending, you tend to use flats, and when you're ascending, you tend to use sharps. You might wonder why, and if I were to use, for example, if you look at bar 13, I've got F, here's F, okay, so you can put your first finger there, right? And then F sharp is the second finger. And the only time I put the letter name and the fingering is the first time you see that note. The rest of the time I don't do that because I don't want you to rely on numbers and letter names. I want you to start to read the music, okay? I always recommend, though, if you want to write all that stuff in there, go ahead and print up 2 of these. Again, you can find these on the Discord. Oh, shoot, sorry, Bruce, I need to pin that Discord. I'll post it. Here's the Discord link again. And I'll pin it. Oh, you're drying. Oh, Sam, you had a lot of rain. Yeah, send it our way. We could use some rain. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I should probably give up soda, but I don't know. I just even with a good meal, like a burger, man, I got to have a Diet Coke. I feel like it's pretty ironic when I go if I ever go to McDonald's and supersize and then say Diet Coke. It's like one of my favorite oxymorons. Supersize with a Diet Coke. Yes, and so all these lesson charts, like Bruce is saying, will be on in the Discord. So that's worth going to. It's worth joining the Discord to get access free all of these things. We've got PDFs for this series, and I mean, I can just to show you. There's last 2 weeks ago. There's 3 weeks ago. There's 4 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago. 7 weeks ago. So you can see where we just get there's the first lesson right there. Okay, so my point being that you basically we're putting together a free book. Now, the Alfred's Basic Guitar Method is just a good way to have some supplemental, different perspective, a different, to be honest, that was put together. That book was put together with a lot more thought than I'm putting into these these lessons here. Okay. But what I'm going to do next week, we're going to review all the strings. Okay. I'm going to try to make it very simple in that regard. However, I am going to introduce eighth notes. So we're going to start seeing more than 4 notes per bar. I may do 8 eighth notes in a bar. That's probably the easiest thing to read. Oh, sorry, I was talking about sharps and flats. Let me get back to that. But so I think I'm going to, so we're going to do a full review of all 6 strings incorporating eighth notes. And it will be very simple. I mean, it may be a lot of like 1, 2, 4, and that may even be the first 2 lines will be that, or something to that effect. But the great thing about eighth notes is we can start getting some interesting rhythms going. Okay, so the reason I'm using, if I use G flat in bar 14, okay, in bar 15 I have G natural, so then I'm going to probably have to tell you that that's G natural. Because you might go, oh, we're G flat, oh, I'm still G flat. No, it's G natural, especially if I'm going in the same bar, because accidentals last to the end of the bar. So if I called that F sharp, then I can play G without calling it G natural. But if I called this G flat, then I'm going to have to notate. So if I went back and forth between like that, like Jaws, except I think Jaws is E F. But if I went F sharp to G, F sharp to G, in a measure, I would just have to write F sharp once, and then it would be G, and then I'd write an F there, but the F sharp carries, so that wouldn't have to be done, and then the G, and then it wouldn't have to have anything. But if I wrote G flat, then I'd have to write G natural, then I have to write G flat again. I have to basically you're contradicting yourself every note. so it's easier. So when you're ascending, you generally tend to use sharps, not always. And then when you're descending, and I'm talking about when we're using accidentals. When we're descending, we'll use flat. So I'm good. This is A. Play A for me, the open A string, which is the 2nd string from the bottom, the 5th string we would call that. That's A. A flat is played right here. And you can kind of figure that out because when you tune A from the E string, you go like that, right? Go 5th fret. So it makes sense that if this is A, if this is A and this is A, then this is A flat. Because when you flat a note, you'd go down. You just make the string longer. Okay, if we went to A sharp, it would be here. Or we would go here. There's A sharp also. All right. So you're going to get, even though we're only learning 3 new notes, or we're learning 1 new string, we're actually going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 note names. All right, we're going to get E, F, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, and A flat. Okay. All right. So let's just learn those first 3 for now. E is there, and you can see it's below the 3rd ledger line. Again, that's really tough. It's really tough. It's like, oh man. And you know what? Oftentimes I'll see the D. So that would be on the line below that. So it would be on the 4th line before low 2nd. When you say D, wait. If somebody sends me something in drop D tuning, then they're going to have that D note. Now, sometimes if I have the MIDI, a lot of times what I'll do with all these ledger lines, I'll cheat. If it's just single note, stuff like this, and it's really low, I'll knock it up an octave and just make a note to myself. I'll play it down an octave. So now I'm reading on the middle of the meat of the staff, and I'm just playing. I see this E written, but I play this E. Okay. that there's a trick to doing that. Oftentimes, it's done when it's above the staff. It's very rare to do this below the staff, but a lot of times you like this. This is the on the first line above the staff. This A here, okay, 5th fret, 1st string. Play that. That's A. Then B would be above that. That's on the 2nd ledger line. This is on the 3rd ledger line. This is on the 4th ledger line, and this B up here is on the 5th ledger line. Good luck trying to keep track of yourself when you're doing that. So what they'll do is they'll knock everything down an octave and write 8 VA, which means read up an octave. So I'm actually reading like E, F, G, really easy, but then I'm playing this. Okay? So that's one trick you can do to simplify it, and that's common. So you don't really have to worry about the upper ledger lines so much. It's very, very common if you actually end up seeing that somewhere for guitar. Now, flute players, they don't do that so much. Flute players actually are really good at reading those notes because they live up in there. They just live there. I don't know how they do it, but I've seen a lot. I actually bought a couple flute books because I wanted to practice my, flute exercise books because I wanted to practice my ledger line reading. So I'm actually pretty good at reading ledger lines, but. And the low 3, once you get these down, you got them down if you're using them. So, and that's the thing about reading music. I just posted on Discord a bunch of. I'm just going to kind of add to it as I think of things. But I posted reasons to learn to read music. And for one thing, it's the international universal language of musicians. So no matter where you go, music is the same. You go to Japan, you go to Iraq. You go to South Africa, you go to Norway, you go to India. If there's music written for musicians, it's going to be this. It's going to be standard music notation. It's universal. There is special notation for Arabic music, things like that. There might be some weird Indian music notations I don't know about, but it's standard. So that alone is kind of comforting when because I do travel a bit and. When I go overseas, if someone throws music down, I know I'm going to be able to read it. So it's not like they're throwing down words and I have to read it. It's like that would, they write Chinese, I would not be able to read that thing. As I play jazz, although I do say that many old school jazz players couldn't read a note of music, but they did know theory. And they did know that this was an F and that this was a C sharp, and they knew all of that. They knew their notes on their, like in the case of the guitar, on the fretboard, but they may not have known how to read them. Obviously, classical music. There's some classical music that's written in tab, but 99% of it is not tabbed out. So you're missing out on the majority of the catalog of beautiful, beautiful classical music. If you want to do session work, reading is very helpful. I know a couple guitar players here in LA that are some of the top guys that really can't read music. They've got great ears, and they get handed charts, and they just figure things out, and they do fine. But they mostly do records. They don't do a lot of film scores or TV things. So records, you take more time. The idea is getting a good sound, a good vibe, a good groove, and less about what we call music by the pound. I will do TV sessions, or back in the day, I did TV sessions where you would, in 3-hour session, you could do 50 cues, and you might do the first 5 cues where you read through it once and then record it, and then but once you get going and you've got the themes for that episode or whatever, things tend to recur a lot throughout an episode or even through a series. So the reading becomes easier as you go because you've read it before. Let's see what else I write. I use reading at church. We have charts at church. Where that comes in handy is sometimes if they want you to play the melody on a communion of a song that we've done or something. The melody's written there, and you can just play the melody. So it's really, that comes in handy. Here's another thing. If you can read, you can write. So one of the things you can do is if you want to start writing songs or writing down things, or even things you're working on guitar, you're like, or if you figure out a song, like say you figured out, you could try to write that out in music. You may be completely wrong. You can even, if you do something like that, feel free to scan it and post it at Discord, and then I can look at it and go, okay, here's how I would have written that, or here's normal writing notation rules for that, what you're trying to do there. But you can write things out in music instead of tab if you're trying to remember something or make a note of it. I think that's a good thing, because if you know how to write music, then you can. I know people that make a living just being a copyist, which is somebody who makes charts. And their software programs, I think Sibelius is the best. I use Finale. Sibelius wasn't around, I don't think, when I started doing charts. But I did charts at church, and they paid me to do it. And I've gotten paid for doing charts, you know, I forget, I get what, $25 a page or something like that, and so you know I could do 20 pages a day and make $500. So you know it's kind of mind-numbing work, but it's actually, you know, legitimate work. Oh, pickup bands. I've done top 40 gigs. Most top 40 gigs, if you play in a top 40 band, and some of you do actually. Most you memorize the songs. You learn a new song or an old song or whatever, and you just play it. And you don't, you know, recharge. But I've been in pickup ones where it's just like everybody, all the musicians, they've never played with each other. You show up a gig, no rehearsal, and they have a book, and you just start reading books. And sometimes it's like, you know, Shotgun or something like that, or Peter Gunn, or, you know, fun R&B tunes. You kind of already know, but it's sure nice to have a chart there, just in case you're like, oh, what's that riff again? I can't remember the bridge riff or something like that. And there it is. Oh, good, I can read it. You know, or whatever the riff is. Okay, big band gigs. If you're going to play in a big band, the reading is pretty much required. Also, pit band gigs, which is playing in musicals. So anyway, that's kind of some of the reasons. I probably will come up some more. If you think of some, you can add to it. I put it in the Tom's text chat. Tom's text chat, I think is what it's called. That was Dennis's doing. Hey Jan, hey Jan, how's it going? Somebody actually bought the last few pallets of Tab, and my son went or ordered a 12-pack for the parent for a parent wedding gift to her. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh yeah. So Bruce is. I'm being redundant. Bruce already told you. Okay. So most of you know all that stuff. All right. So let's dig into this. So low E string is there. It is below the third ledger line. 2, 3, first fret is F on the third ledger line. 4 and then G. 2, 3, back down to F. Okay, look at it again. 4. I know you want to look at those numbers. F. 2, and the numbers are referring to not the fret, they coincidence. They refer to your finger. Okay, so I'm looping the 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. These are whole notes. They get 4 beats each. See, there's this. They're hollow and they don't have a stem on them. Okay, next line is half notes, and those have stems on them. Now those E's that I wrote there in bar 5 kind of almost look like they're on the line a little bit, but that's the software did that. They technically are below that line, so those are E's. So we're going to hit 2 E's per 2 notes per bar now. We're just going to repeat that next line. Bar 5 through 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Pay attention though. 2. F. 2. G. 2. Notice here F. Then E. Now back to the top. Got bar 5. 2. F. 2. 4. G. 2. F. E, again, E, 2, 4. I'm using downstrokes. G, third fret. Now F, E. Okay, bar 9 to 12. Let's do that. Now we're bringing in quarter notes. We have 4 E's, 4 F's, 4 G's. Oh, and I go to A there. So there's our first non-E string note. Not going to be too many in this lesson. A few, but not too many. Okay, that's A. So that's open A string. See that written on the second ledger line. It's a mess down there with those ledger lines. It's very hard to read. But if you just practice this page for a few days, you should be fine. Okay. All right. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, F, G. You're reading music. Look at that. A, G, F, E. Let's just do that bar. A, G, F, E. Again, A, G, F, E. A. Now here's a little thing you can do. Okay, you notice when I went to the A note, when I was looping that, I kind of touched the E string so it wouldn't continue to ring out. Really, this is not what that, if they write that and they say you wrote a loop of that, it was just that bar 10 times or whatever. We don't want to hear this. Okay, you don't want to hear that low E ringing over that A. So you've got to kind of. Sometimes you have to be aware of strings that are ringing out that are going to lessen the impact of the string or the note you want to be heard. Okay? Sometimes you want 2 notes ringing out, but that's not the case here. All right, so let's do this again. Bar 9, and we're going to go back. We're going to loop this bar 9 to bar 12. Okay? 3, 4. E, 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 F, 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 G, G. Get ready for the open A. A, G, F, E. Stay on E. 1, 2, 3, 4 to F. First fret. Get ready for G. Get your finger out there. G, 2, 3, 4. A, G, F, E. Let's do it again. E. Try to look ahead, at least 1 note, so nothing catches you by surprise. You really can't read music if you're. It's hard to read music efficiently if you're looking at the note you're playing. You kind of got to get ahead of the game a little bit because you got to get your hands in the position. And if a note's going to be here and you're here, you're not going to be able to be in 2 places. You're not going to be able to react fast enough. Okay. Okay, bar 13. Let's just do. There's not a double bar at bar 16. I really wasn't thinking about that so much when I was doing this lesson. But let's just repeat bar 13 through 16. Okay, just that line. And it's going to be F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. That's it. All right, so we're just doing chromatic starting on the F. We're not using the E on this time. So you can see that the F is written on that 3rd ledger line. F sharp is also on the 3rd ledger line, but there's a sharp sign. And remember that sharp sign is good for the rest of the bar. It's called an accidental. It's good for the rest of the bar. So beat 1 of bar 14 is not is F sharp, but beat 2 is not F. So you might be tempted to go F sharp and then F, 3 Fs, because you're like, well, that's F sharp and those are Fs. No, that F sharp is an accidental. It carries for a bar, but once it gets to that bar line, that vertical line that cuts across the staff, once it gets there, then it has no power. What am I trying to say? Its value, its power ends. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but anyway. And then we go to G, and the same thing happens when you get to G sharp. You just stay on G sharp. It's good. Now, if I wanted that to be F sharp to F, I'd have to write a natural sign on that 2nd F. Okay, I'd have to put a little weird natural sign, which those are always hard to write. Sharp signs and flat signs are super easy. Oh, you can see a natural sign down in bar 38. I've got G sharp, A, B flat, and B natural. There's an example where I didn't use a sharp on the 8 ascending, and I had to do 2 accidentals instead of just 1. If I put A sharp there, I wouldn't have needed to put a B natural there. But B flat's a much more common note than A sharp. So I wanted you to practice reading B flat and not A sharp at this point. Okay, anyway. All right, so let's just do this little chromatic bit here. Bar 13, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 F sharp. 2, 3, 4 G. 2, 3, 4 G sharp. Hey, Dennis, we were talking about you. And then back to F sharp. G. Pinky. Again, I'm using all downstrokes here. Okay, see you later, Aslan. Take care. Okay, now, when you're playing this, you can think the letter names. mean, you can take, like, I'm playing G sharp, F, because that helps you learn the notes on the neck, and it helps you learn the notes on the staff. So I'm fine with you seeing that and going F. Yeah, that's totally fine, you know, because that's what it is. So eventually it'll start to make sense. Okay, bar 17, I'm starting to outline some triads and kind of making some melodic statements here, okay? Let me play 17 through 20 for you so you can hear it. Basically, I haven't played it yet. So it's kind of implying, you know, it's kind of a flamenco. It's kind of implying that. You can, you know, it kind of has that bass line of a flamenco tune or something, a Spanish tune of some kind. But it's that's kind of what's being implied here. Is an A minor in bar 17, kind of an E with a, you know, like a E with a, you know, with an F natural in it, E major chord. The beautiful flat 9. That's what that F kind of implies. And then again with the A minor, but E, A, and C, C. So we have some A string notes here. And then E, G sharp, E, B. Okay? So let's just loop each one of these individually, each bar. So we're going to play bar 17. We're going to play open A. And I'm loving that the chat is kind of slowed down because I know, I can tell when I don't see the chat moving so much, I know that you got the guitar in your hand and you're doing what I'm telling you to do. You're not just here for the company. Okay, I take it back. Now you're all chatting just to prove me wrong. Because Pepper showed up. All right, here we go. So we have A, C, A, E. A, C, A, E. A, C, A. That's bar 17. Okay, bar 18 is a nice, almost kind of an exercise. It's a nice stretch. G sharp to B, G sharp, F. G sharp, B, G sharp, F. And it's actually a diminished triad. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. Okay, that's that. That's that whole Dastardly Dan. There's a reference I don't think any of you know. Okay, that's from Dudley Do-Right, right? Was Dastardly Dan in Dudley Do-Right? Penelope, was that her name? A friend of mine just had a baby and he named her Penelope. Penny. I thought that was funny. Okay, so there's G sharp, B, G sharp, F, G sharp, B, G. It's totally Pepper's fault. It's always Pepper's fault. A, B, G sharp, F, G sharp, B, G sharp, F. Okay, so that was bar 18. 19 is just low E, okay, below that third ledger line. Open A, and then C twice. E, A, C, C. And again, if this is going by too fast for you, particularly when we string all this together, you can give each one of these notes 2 beats. You can give each one of these notes 4 beats. You can give each one of these notes 100 beats if you want to. Good luck with that. All right, I'll see you next year. But when you finish this line. But basically the idea is, yeah, you can definitely slow it down if you need to, because I want your brain to go, okay, what's the next note? All right, I don't want you to panic. Although, now, panic is a good motivator to learn it, okay? Fear and panic is Well, it is. It is. Tommy Tedesco said, who's kind of the quintessential LA session guitar player. He played in a lot of records. He was a member of the Wrecking Crew, but he also played in a lot of movies and TV shows. I mean, gosh, he just did a ton of that stuff. And his wife is still getting his secondary market check money. So, Do Right of the Mounties, the girl. Nell Trueheart. Very good, Bruce. Good memory. So Penelope must have been from something else. And somebody asked him, "Is doing sessions hard?" He says it's like 90% boredom and 10% fear. So, and when I'm working at home, there's 0% fear because I look at something and I go, oh gosh. I always think, thank God I'm not in a live session with an orchestra. I don't think orchestra players ever get scared, but maybe they do. I was watching. I was listening to a podcast I really like called "The Art of the Score," and they were talking about a Harry Potter score, and they recorded it at Abbey Road with the London Philharmonic, and John Williams is a composer, and the orchestrator reached out to the contractor in London and said, "Hey, I'm going to send you the parts in advance." And the contractor was like, "Yeah, we don't do that. We're not going to practice before." He goes, "No, I'm going to send them to you." And he said, "Yeah, but it's not. We're not going to practice. We're not going to have the charts at home and practice. We don't do that. We just show up and read." He goes, "I'm going to send them to you." And he sent it to them, and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you sent it to us because you can. I forget. Is it Dumbledore's theme? I can't remember. It's somebody's theme." Oh my gosh, that reading is insane. And to think that there are some people that can sight read that, wow, it just blows my mind. Steve Vai is that way. He could sight read anything. I'm like, whoa, no. So sometimes, yeah, I've got music and I'm going like, I got to work it up before I hit record. And I'm punching in and things like that. So. Snidely Whiplash. So Dastardly Dan is something else. Oh, Dastardly and Penelope Pitstop, Wacky Race. Michael Frawley jumps in with the. Thank you for lurking, Michael, and giving. So I was mixing two shows. Same animation company though, right? Wacky Races seems like that would also be Hanna-Barbera because I think Dudley Do-Right was Hanna-Barbera. I saw a documentary on it. It was pretty fascinating. Okay, all this sidetracking. It doesn't take me much to get... Oh, nobody put any squirrels up there. Where are the squirrels? Ooh, a squirrel. Okay, so I'm going to play this again at 17 to 20. Here's what it sounds like. Thought it sounded like something. A lot of these things when I'm creating these lessons, I'm trying to not do weird, intentionally random, nonsensical melodic ideas just with the intent of getting you to learn to read the notes. No, I'm actually, because that's not music. Music never really, sometimes it goes there. If some composers I work for, they do some weird stuff. But for the most part, every note I play makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. It may be something new I've never heard before, but it makes sense. It's rare. Actually, you get to a certain point in your reading, just like reading words, it's rare you come across a word you don't know. Same thing's true with music after a while. Once you've been reading music for a while, there's pretty much no rhythm or musical phrase that you haven't seen before and you haven't played in some shape or form. So it eventually gets easier. So I'm trying to give you musical, not frickin' random things that make no sense, but they're just there to really quiz you. Because there is a quiz on this. If you want to order this cup, you can order this. There won't be a quiz on this. But, yeah, so I'm trying not to give it. So this actually sounds like something. Okay, so I'm going to double the value of each of these notes. I'm going to turn them into half notes, okay? So here's 17. 2, 3, 4. A, 2. 4, A, E, G sharp with a pinky, B, back to G sharp, and then F natural, low E, open A, C twice, and then E, G sharp. Time for dessert. Dinner time. I haven't had dinner yet. Okay? So you can do that. You could double the value of each of those notes, or you could quadruple the value if you want to. You could do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives you plenty of time to get ready for that next note. 2, 3, 4. That's 100%. That's the same as just slowing down the tempo. If you do them as half notes, that just means you're doing it halftime, which means the tempo is half as fast. It's just easier than trying to reset the metronome from 100 beats to 50 beats or whatever. So, okay, bar 21, this is where I did do bar 21 to bar 28 is pseudo-randomizing just these 3 notes. Oh, no, I have the A in there. Okay, so we have, because I wanted some melodic function, so we have E, F sharp, I'm sorry, E, F, G, and A. Oh, and there's a B in there. Sorry, there's a B in there. So there's our total. Here's another little trick, little music reading trick. Say and I've had cues that were 8 bars. I've had cues that were 1 bar for TV show. You may just have to do. They may just want. That only takes 1 bar. But I've had cues that were like that. Well, you can look through this and you can go through it and look at. Notice that. Oh, okay, A, okay. Okay, there's only 5 notes here. It's like Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. The da 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 na 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 na. It's basically 6 notes. That whole melodic idea. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, singers sight read as well. And Pepper, when that's what I was going to say. That's kind of the reason why when I'm sight reading, I'm not so much reading the note as much as the interval, and that's what sight singers do. So when you're singing in a choir, that's another, I should put that in there if you want to sing a choir. Being able to read music is pretty necessary. What you're doing is you're generally reading the interval. That's where it comes in handy to know the sound of different intervals, like A, na, D, A, D, A, D, A, D. That fourth is the same as the wedding march. Bum, bum, ba, bum. Okay? If I were to do augmented fourth, ba, ba, so ba, 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 ba. That's Maria. I think Maria, I just met a girl named Maria, or whatever. Such a great musical. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite. It's just such great melodies, and so much of that musical is in the Lydian mode. Wow, what a great melody that is. I mean, unfreaking believable. And so, you can, but yeah. So if you were to start singing in a choir, then you'd start reading music. And the cool thing about singing in a choir, it's a pretty narrow range because they assign you like you're a bass, but if you're a guy doing it, like mostly guys on here, if you're a guy singing in a choir, you're gonna have to learn to read bass clef. So we're not talking about that yet. Yeah, West Side Story, so good. Okay, so bar 21 through 28 is kind of randomizing, and so I'm going to double the value. I'll double the value, so just to force me to go slower for you. Okay. Somebody had fireworks left over from last night. Okay. So bar 21, G to F to E to E to, oh look at E again, E to F to G. You can see them just right in a row. Okay, G again. Now the next note up, A, down to G, G again, to F, then E, F to E, F, that's Jaws theme right there. And then E again. Oh, to G, see the third? That's a minor third, E to G. And then we have F to A, open A, that's a third also. See, it goes from a line note to a line note. And then look, under the line to under the line, and then A, G, F, E, E. Okay, so that one, bar 21 through 28 is a section you could repeat multiple times in your practicing because it's fairly random. It'll really, really force you to try to read the notes, okay? And notice I was reading the intervals. And you can tell if something's just on the, okay, if I'm on the line, ledger line, and then the next, I'm under the next ledger line, that means that's just a whole step or a half step away. So it's just 1 or 2 frets away. If it's, like if you look at bar 26, that's an F, that's on the line, and then you look at the next note, that's on the line too, so that must be a third. So that's going to be F to A is a third. And so you can kind of start to see little tricks like that as you're reading that will help you figure out what note that is without having to necessarily will help you kind of learn the notes, help you learn to read intervals, which again I think is really common. Okay, Kathy's here. Oh, just made it. I lost my glasses and was hunting everywhere. I have a dog's bed. What? Oh, that's funny. The dog just wanted a piece of you to sleep with for comfort. Probably what happened. With their teeth marks on them. Okay. So now 29, I'm bringing in dotted. We haven't talked about dotted notes, so actually you're learning more than you think you're learning here. A dot adds 50% of the value. Okay, so if a whole note is worth 2 beats, then a dotted whole note is worth 50% more than that. So half of 2 is 1, so you add 2 to 1, and 1 to 2, and you get 3. So it's count for 3 counts. So let's just play bar 29. It's E and then F. 3, 4. E, F, 3, 4. Jaws. 3. Don't get scared. 3, 4. So that's what the dot means. When you see those dots, it's a way. I could have written that as a half note or quarter note tied to a half note, but this is shorthand. And it's actually ultimately easier to read. Okay? Next bar, G to F. 3, 4. That's bar 30. G, F, 3, 4. 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. Very good. Okay, now the next bar, I put the dotted half note at the beginning. So it's going to be 3 beats of E and then another E on beat 4. So we're just going to loop that one phrase there, okay? Here we go. That one bar. 2, 3, 4. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 1. Next bar is just to mix it up a little bit. E, F, A, G, E, G, like that. So if we do the next 2 bars, bar 32 and bar 33, that phrase is E, F, A, G. I'm not really doing too many sharps and flats for you yet, but we're going to get to it. And then E, G, 3, 4. If we go on, F, 2, 3, G, A, G, 3, 4, F, 2, E, 4. That A flat and G flat's referring to the notes below there, okay? So don't be thrown off by that. All right, so technically, and I've got the bar line, the double bar set up there at the end of bar 36. Technically, you could play that as one phrase and practice that, and practice reading that. And it's a reading exercise, but it's also a counting exercise. When you have a lot of whole notes, half notes, dotted half notes, you could even have a dotted whole note, but you would have to be in a 6/8. It would be a 6/4 bar because you have to be 6 beats. but it's almost more of a counting exercise than a reading exercise. I'm going to play 29 through 36 just so you can hear it. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Interesting. 2, 3. 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to play it without saying anything, so you can hear if there's any kind of melodic thing. Here's the other thing too. Most of you have pretty good memories, and you're probably going to memorize these before you actually, and that's a thing where this is why we've got how many pages now? We're up to 12, 13 pages. That's why it's good to go back and do reviews and just read the page down once. Don't play it multiple times, anything like that. Just kind of go, okay, just review. Then it's more like sight reading. If you play the same page 10 times, you're going to have it memorized at some point. Or if you play the same phrase too many times, you're just going to memorize it. And now you're not reading anymore. And the whole point of this is to read exit. Once you're to the point of playing a memorization, there's really you're not getting any real benefit from it, because these are not like if I was trying to get you to do finger stretching exercise, something like that, then I would say, yeah, definitely memorize these. But in playing them, you're getting a benefit. Okay, but when you've memorized something reading wise, you stop getting the benefit that you sat down to get from the music. So, but listen to this just melodically. See what happens. 3, 4. Kind of cool. Okay, now the next line, I am just going chromatically from E to C and back again. So in other words, every single note between E and G. And then if you go to beat 1 of bar 41, you end on an E, okay? So that's more like a review of everything you've gotten, but totally fine to look at the notes. B flat, B natural, C, back down to B, B flat, A flat, G flat, F. And then the next line is, oh wait, oh, I go to the G string and the D string. Okay, sorry. I don't know why, but that was kind of a weird little phrase to throw in there. I probably did this late. Oh, good. That's not a bad review of the strings. And it's a fairly musical idea. It's basically kind of outlining an E minor 7 arpeggio. E minor 7 can be played with one finger. Just put your first finger on the second fret of the fifth string. That's an E minor 7 chord. I might play it like this. I like the sound of this one better. But I might also do that. E minor 7, I'll put my second finger on it. So, all right. So that's pretty much everything. You can do those last two lines on your own. It's not really critical. Again, you can print 2 copies. One you can mark up to your heart's content, and you can put you can mark up, put fingerings and letter names, and turn it into a self-imposed quiz. Hey, Scott. And then you can but I'll then print a second one. That's the one you use for practice. Excuse me, reading. Haven't eaten anything yet today, so. And so that way you're really, really reading the notes. That's why I really limit how much fingerings and letter names I put on these charts, because I really don't. I want you to try to read them. It's going to be tough because the next one is probably not going to have it, because we've learned all the notes for the most part in the first position. And again, this is the only string that you can't play in any other position. Okay? So the nice thing about what you're learning here is it's what you're learning, that's really pretty much the only place you can play that E, that F, that G, that F sharp, and that G sharp. Those are the only places on the guitar, unless you go to an alternate tuning. Those are the only places you can play those notes. So in that regard, those notes, that note knowledge there is complete. We are going to continue, I think this series, we're going to continue reading up the fretboard, okay? And it could potentially be something as simple as going to the first lesson here. Where is it? Here. And now, I still have all these lessons in Finale. I kept them all. So I can go, okay, now we're going to play E, F, G here instead of here. So it's just 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So instead of being open, it's going to be 5th fret. It's like 6th fret, 8th fret. But I probably won't. I mean, I'm not sure how we're gonna work our way up the neck. That might be a little on the boring side, but there's nothing keeping you from going back to these older lessons. And instead of playing them here, why play it there? Play it here. Those are the same notes. That's the beauty of the guitar. Okay, I've said this time and time and time again. Oh, God bless you. Thank you, Pepper. That means a lot. The beauty of the guitar is that if I had a 24 fret neck, and this guitar is, what is this, 15, 17, 19, 21, I could play this E note, I can play it in 5 different places, and every one of them has a different tone. Most instruments you can't do. Violin you can do. Piano, there's only one place you can play that note. Okay? All those E's, and I could play... here, but all of them have a different flavor, a different timbre, a different sentimentality, they take you to maybe a different place. And that to me, it's almost very, very bluegrassy, right? You get those open strings in there, but then you can't wiggle the open E string, but I can wiggle it and give it vibrato, when I'm playing here. And then to go on this guitar, the 3rd string is wound. So it has a very different tone than that. And it's easier to play because it's closer to your body, the frets are smaller. Okay, and then I get the... It's more choked and it's throaty and it's like, classical guitar is I don't have mine out right now, but it really highlights those timbre differences. For some reason, nylon strings really do that. You go from a nylon string to a kind of a wound nylon string, and it's just amazing difference. So yeah, you can do a lot of that yourself, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to do it because I'm going to keep going on this. And I will occasionally break away like last week, which was just because I forgot we moved the live stream to Mondays. I just went ahead and turned it into a Ask Me Anything because I'd totally forgotten to even do the lesson. So like I said, next week, the lesson I'm going to create for next week is going to be, we're going to introduce 8th notes. I'm going to try to keep it real simple. Probably what I'm going to do is we're going to do all the open strings so you can remember what the open strings look like. E, 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 B, 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 E, B, 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 G, 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 D, D, D. Oh, hey, I can retire, by the way. I got a nice check. Look at this check. 2 cents. I swear the envelope, I think it was a 57-cent stamp on it. I'm like, why? Oh my goodness. So I'm like, it's funny because there was I forget who it was. It was one of the newspapers back in the day, like in 2000s, maybe around the market crash, 2009, they sent like they sent a dollar check to all these different billionaires, right? And 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 if they cashed it, they would send them a lower one for 50 cents. And if they cashed that one, they sent them one for 25 cents. And if they cashed that one, they sent for and they kept going until none of the billionaires they said, that's not worth my time to cash it. They just threw away the check or whatever. And the only one, it was Donald Trump. I think he cashed a 2-penny check. He actually won the contest. They didn't know it was a contest, but it's just funny. I think he actually cashed a 2-penny. Not cashed, deposited a 2-penny check. It just cracked me up. This was back at 15 years ago or something. So, well, the funny thing is they're supposed to I thought they were direct. I thought I get a lot of these kind of checks. Most of them go direct deposit. Like for example, if you want to release a record and you want to record a song and release it up on CD Baby, like I'm going to do with my Gypsy song, my Gypsy jazz song. If you want to do that and it's a cover, someone else's song, you have to pay Harry Fox for that, okay? And so Harry Fox will. You don't have to go to the original copyright holders. You don't have to find the artist. It's irrelevant. You just go to Harry Fox and say, I want to do this. And the minimum is, I forget how much it is. It may be like $88 or something like that. It's like if you're going to stream it and you're not a major artist, or if you're going to if you're going to print CDs, which really I don't know if anyone even does that anymore. Hey, Painkiller. David Sillis. Yeah, exactly. So David has the same thing. On an upside, it wasn't 50 cents. Exactly. So then I get direct deposits from Harry Fox pretty much every month, from anywhere from $4 to $40 for somebody's doing a cover of one of my songs somewhere. They're putting on the record or whatever. And of course, I don't own any song really that's out there making me money. I don't own anything 100%. I have 10%, 17.5%. I have 25%. I have 20%. I have 30%. I have 35%. I have 50% of some songs. So when somebody does a cover of one of the songs, then they pay Harry Fox, and then Harry Fox gets the money to me because I'm what's called the copyright holder. And now that I signed a publishing deal with Universal, I think those checks are supposed to go to Universal, but they're still coming to me for some reason, but they're just direct deposit. Music reports, for some reason, I guess I never set up the direct deposit. So I have now. The thing is it's like I went to the website and they've sent, because again, it's just like comes occasionally. You just don't know. It's fine. I love that part of this business where you just kind of get surprise money. And my music's kind of my annuity. And so I like that. But when I went to Music Reports, logged and everything, in total they've sent me $38 in total through all the years. So I don't even know who they're collecting for. I think it says Amazon free tier. 2020 ASAO royalties. So Amazon free, so I must have gotten 100 streams of something or whatever. It's very, very, and I don't complain about streaming. I make decent money from streaming. There are a lot of people that say, "Oh, you don't make anything from streaming." Yeah, you made more from selling CDs. I guarantee you, if you went, if you were out performing and you sold 10 CDs every night at $10 or $15, you're going to make $100 a night just from that. You're not going to make a lot of money from 1 million streams. And you're like, well, I should. Well, the problem with that is that's just 1 million people hearing your music. If your song plays on the radio, I've had songs play on the radio, and I had one of my songs played on the radio 100 times, and I made $100. And like, wow, that's $1 a play. Yeah. What if you got $1 a play a spin on Spotify? Oh yeah, that would be great. But that ain't gonna happen. But the thing is, when it plays on the radio, how many people are listening? 10,000 people. So on that same royalty statement, I got $100 for a million spins on Spotify. So if you take that 100, so that means, I got $100 for a million spins on Spotify of a song, was my share of it, or whatever. So, but if I take 10,000 and multiply that times 100 radio stations, that equals a million. So it's basically, it pays the same. And actually it was less. It was less, because 10,000, there could be 100,000 people listening to the radio at that time, or a million people. Well, not a million people. No radio station has a million listeners. Not at any one time. But 10,000 would be a pretty conservative. There's some places that might have 500 people listening. But there's others that might be 100,000 people listening. So say it was a average of 100,000. Now you're looking at 10 million people heard my song on radio and it made $100. 1 million people heard my song on Spotify and made $100. So I think on a per person, per listener basis, I think streaming actually pays copyright holders better. And if I was the artist and I owned the music and I owned the master and I was the label and I uploaded it, a million spins generates, I think, $7,000 on Spotify. So 5,000 goes to the record company and 2,000 goes to the copyright holders, meaning the publishers and the writers. And if you're the writer and the publisher, you get that $2,000. And if you're the record company, you get that $5,000. Now, the record company takes that $5,000. They don't just put it in their pocket. Some of that has to go to the artist. Some of that goes to the writers as mechanicals. Okay, those mechanicals are royalties I get for hard sales, for actual sales of CDs. Well, they don't sell many CDs anymore. So when streaming came along, the concession that they made was that I don't know what the number is, but 67 spins on Spotify is the same as one sale. And if I owned 100% of a song on a record, say like there were 10 songs on a record and I wrote and published one of those songs 100%, that's 9.1 cents comes to me. So if that record sells 1 million copies of the hard copy, I would get $91,000. Okay. Now, again, like I said, there are no songs on any records out there that are making any real money that I own 100% of. I own 10%. I own 17% or whatever. So I've gotten some good checks, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 checks for things like that, because those million spins those million sales don't all happen at once. But I've got songs on multi-million dollar records, multi-platinum records in the U.S. So the Bieber stuff, that's basically what I'm talking about. The Bieber stuff can generate some pleasant mailbox money, as we call it. Usually it just shows up with my checking account. I'm like, oh, cool. What was that? So, but usually before I get it in my mailbox, I get a statement in email. Like you were saying, email is much more efficient. And so I usually get some kind of statement in email, and I open it up and I go, oh, cool, I got this coming. And it comes the next week. I get it in my thing or whatever. So, right. That's cool too. Yeah, I love that you can. That was fairly not that long ago when people would start to do that. Where you buy the CD, you also get the streaming ability, or you get a download thing, so you can download. Yeah, and you still buy CDs. I still like having a CD. I still prefer. I don't have Spotify Premium, and sometimes I just want to listen to a record and a CD all the way through. I think it's more. I don't know. I'd be curious your thought on this. See, albums, vinyl, when you had to do an A side and a B side, right? So there's when you're an artist, and I've done this, I've been on, I've had bands. You really are. You really slave over. You really rack your brain over this whole. What order should you put the songs in? How do you want the listener to experience this album? And so there's a certain way you do it, but there with vinyl there was a rule. You always put the ballad closest to the sound hole or the center hole. Okay, the last track was always a ballad, and there was a physics reason for that. The further you got into the vinyl, the less bass response and volume response you could get. It can only be so loud at the center of the record, and on the outside you could put the louder tracks on the outside. So really, you could make the argument that it wasn't until people made CDs, that CDs came along, that you had 100% freedom as an artist to put the songs in the order that you wanted them without any concern for sonic quality, right? Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Holly. I don't have a CD player anywhere. I can play CDs. My computer doesn't have a CD player. I have a CD player in my car, but my car's 10 years old. I know my next car will not have a CD player in it. So yeah, it's going to be it's practically obsolete. Kind of like DVDs. I mean, if you want a good app to get, it's a free app. Get on your phone. It's called Just Watch. It's a big time saver. For streaming movies and TV shows and stuff like that. You download Just Watch and you enter in it all the streamers that you have. I've got Prime, I've got Hulu, I've got Disney, I've got Netflix, I've got Spectrum, I've got Hoopla, which is great. That's the library one. If you have a library card, you can get Hoopla. I've got Peacock. I've got a bunch of streamers, right? But it's like, where is that show? So you enter it in Just Watch. You enter in, where is Cheers? You enter in Just Watch, and it goes, it's on Hulu. Oh, it's also on Peacock. Oh, great. Okay, now I know where to find Cheers. So it's a real time saver. You don't have to go, okay, is it on Prime? No, not on Prime. Oh, is it on Spectrum? No, not on Spectrum. Is it, it's like, so Just Watch is a great little app. YouTube is great for music videos. Yeah, and that was kind of one of the things that YouTube kind of brought back the whole MTV thing of the 80s. MTV kind of made it late 70s, early 80s, where you had to make a video. I mean, Duran Duran would spend $250,000 making a video for their songs. And it paid back in spades because of the, because people would buy the records because they really liked the video. The video kind of sells the song sometimes. And that kind of went away. MTV stopped doing that. They started playing dramas and things like that. In fact, I have music on a show, an awful show on MTV. Oh my gosh. What's it called? Parental Control. Oh, what an awful show that was. Oh, just dreadful. But I make money on it, so. Done ham on DVD. Yeah, so, but the thing is, if you have Spotify Premium or Apple Music, I think you can listen to an entire record without being interrupted. I hate it when you're trying to listen to an album and then they insert songs. Artists like this. Like, I don't want artists like this. There are no artists like Radiohead. I just want to listen to OK Computer. Okay? So they kind of got you in that regard. And so if you kind of lose that experience of listening to a record all the way through. I don't know. I don't think you can even, if I get a Tesla, I don't think I can even have a CD player, so it's not an option. It'd be hilarious. But I still have, hundreds, if not 1,000 CDs, but they're packed away. I still have them all on my computer, which is nice. I still have them in Apple iTunes. I hesitate to get rid of that. But here's the other thing. If you buy a record, say I buy Let It Be, and I bought probably Let It Be 4 different times, right? Probably wore out one record, so I bought the album twice, and I probably bought it, like Let It Be, the original, and then they did a remix of it, and I probably bought that on CD. So I probably had 4 copies of Let It Be. And so the Beatles have made tons of money off of me from that. Well, not tons, but they've made some decent money. But still, if I'm going to listen to Let It Be, I might pull it on Spotify because I know that the artist is going to make more money than if I just listen to my CD. Because the artist that makes no money if you listen to a CD. If you download a song. And like I said, if I do this, I'll try to post it on links and everything on all of the streaming services. and so that you can go and add that song, which is called Question Mark, by the way, that Django song. You can add that to your. It's about 3 minutes long, and it's a nice little break in whatever you're listening to. It's a pleasant little song. So, yes, yes, Holly, that happened to me on "Home to Mama," a song I wrote with Justin Bieber. The what happened? Yeah, the stream songs that you bought. Oh, I've heard of that. That's crazy. Yeah, that can't happen with physical media. That was an iTunes thing, and I had a lot of friends that when they upgraded, and it's like, well, you can't play your iTunes library until you get a new computer. What? Are you kidding me? I got to spend $3,000 to listen to all the iTunes. I spent $3,000 on these iTunes songs, and you won't let me play them. They've changed that, and of course, if you have an Apple account and you get a new iPhone or something, you can listen to it there. But you may not be able to listen to it on your computer if you can't update iTunes on your computer because you got an old computer. So, yeah, you're right. And if you go see an artist, and you want to buy their CD, buy their CD. You can always, import it into your computer. I think iTunes still does that. You can still put, if you have, I do have a USB CD player. So if I want to, go USB into, I have one, so I can put a CD into my computer. But this one doesn't. Yeah, there's no computer slot. There's no CD slot on this iMac. So I can still do that and still import it into iTunes and then have it in there. And then when I move things over, but yeah, no, that's horrible. But on Home to Mama, the thing was that song has never been. The splits have never been agreed to, so the splits equal 120%. Well, they can only equal 100%. Because I'm claiming a certain percentage and someone else is claiming another percentage, and we disagree. And so it's like, I don't know how much money I'm leaving on the table, but I still get royalties based on my percentage, and they probably still get royalties based on their percentage. But they took the song. I don't think it's on streaming anymore. If I go to Spotify, I don't think you can find Home to Mama. They took it down because it was like Spotify didn't know who to send the royalties to. So let's see if it's back. Although I like I said, I didn't get royalties for a while, and then I started getting royalties again. So let me see. Oh. Let's see it. Oh, I got to be careful though. I don't want to play it, but let's. I'm going to mute. Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, it used to be. I mean, I had hundreds of millions of streams of it. It used to be Cody Simpson's #1 song, but it's just not there anymore. Yeah, it's blacked out. Isn't that crazy? It is blacked out. Do they give you a reason? No, they don't. So yeah, you can't listen to it on Spotify, because I won't agree to. People are mad too, but it's like I'm not taking 10% for a song that I wrote 50% of. So I'm just like, no, I'm sticking to my guns on this, and I don't need the money. I don't know how much money it would actually be. It's an old song at this point. I think there are mechanicals on there. Now, if Universal, who I just signed with, reaches out to me and says, hey, we need to resolve this, I'll say, well, what do you think I should do? And I'll take their advice. And if they say take 10% because we can get you 20 grand for 10% or whatever, and then I'll go, okay, I'll do that, right? You know what I'm saying? So, Dennis retracted himself. he redacted himself. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to know what Dennis really said. It was harsh. Yeah, so what I try to do, Dennis, or who was it that said I still? Yes. Painkiller, but it's. I'm kind of getting that way. I hate to say it with YouTube. I'm getting to the point where I think some of you already have YouTube Premium. I'm getting so tired of the ads that I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I should get Premium. But it's $15 a month, and I'm just such a cheapskate. And I've already got so many streaming things that I'm already paying for. I'm like, it's just so frustrating. Music B, I know Music B. I think it's it's still I thought you said I used to use. Yeah, it's now here's the thing. If you're gonna watch a video on YouTube of a song, try to find the one that's actually the artist uploaded. That has, I think it's a little musical note next to their name, and that means that they're making the royalty from it. If you play it on someone else's, it's like someone who just uploaded the song, maybe making that artist and that songwriter. Sometimes it's not the artist that's making any money; it's the songwriter that's making money, and that may be the only song they ever wrote or something. You may be helping someone out. So I do try when I'm looking for a song, it's one song in particular. I'm not. See, here's the thing: I don't really. Part of the reason why I don't have Spotify or Apple Music is I just don't listen to a lot of music. I actually like listening to the radio. Like, I don't mind listening to pop radio because I will, top 40 radio or even classic rock radio, whatever. Classic rock, it never happens, but at least with other radio stations, and I have a really good radio station in LA. It's very, very rare to have a good radio station in a big city because it costs so much to buy a spot on the dial. But CSUN, which is Cal State Northridge, has a radio station. They hired a bunch of old K-Rock DJs from the 80s and 90s, and K-Rock launched a million bands that we all know. And now K-Rock just kind of plays the same old. They don't really do a lot of new stuff, and they don't play any underground stuff or anything like that like they used to. They used to be really underground and in Los Angeles. And but KSUN, I forget the call is 88.5 in Los Angeles. It has just a great playlist, and literally 4 out of 5 songs will be songs I've never heard before, which I love. But if I put together a Spotify playlist of songs I like, well, I'm not going to hear anything new. I want to hear something I've never heard before. So that's why I like listening, particularly to pop radio, because I know I'm going to hear a song. And there's 2 big pop radio stations in LA, and a third one that kind of plays pop and alternative. So I'll alternate between those 3. If one of them plays some song that's just super annoying, it's all, just rap or something, or just, I don't know. There's plenty of songs that are annoying, but there's also some really good stuff out there. But then I'll switch to one of the others. But that's kind of I kind of like it. But I don't listen to a lot of music because that's what I do for a living. So I'm a little burned out. Like, I'll listen to talk radio or sports radio or something like that oftentimes. And I don't do a lot of long drives anymore. So even that's not an issue. But I don't listen to a lot of music for a couple of reasons. One, I'm kind of burned out on it. And 2, I don't want to be too influenced because I'm also writing a lot of music. So like, I had to play that song last week for you. Like, did I steal this? Because it sounds so perfectly familiar. And I still haven't found it, but I did not get a copyright notice from YouTube. I played that song twice last week on our live stream, so I'm using that whole algorithm on YouTube that kind of frustrates me sometimes. I'm using it to my benefit for once. So that's what I did. But live. Aslan, what are you redacting? You can filter for new releases with Spotify. Yes, I know. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, you're right. And I also don't mind the algorithm that the original Spotify, which was not Napster, but what's the one that was kind of the original streaming, kind of the only one for a while. They kind of would you really couldn't put together a playlist. And you couldn't say, I want to listen to this album. They would let you listen to an artist or artists like them. And so you would get some decent ones that way. Pandora, that's the one. That was Pandora would and then if you heard a song you liked, you could flag it so you could remember it, or they played it more often or something. So that Pandora actually kind of like that model in some ways. It's more like a radio station. But I'm sure that, like you said, I'm sure there's ways to set up Spotify. I took Spotify off my phone because they were kind of they were tracking you even when you didn't have the app on, and I didn't like that. So they were tracking across apps and I just hate that. Yeah, Pandora was kind of the thing, and I make royalties from Pandora. I think. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Do I have one of my statements? Downloads. No. Huh. Okay, let me log into BMI and download like my latest statement, and I can see what kind of streaming money I've gotten. Because see, when you do this, checks come from lots of different places. So like I said, there's still mechanical royalties. So even if you stream it, even if a song is streamed, you get the performance royalty, but you also get a mechanical royalty, which is mechanical royalties are hard sales, like CD sales. But even streaming pays mechanical royalties. Okay. And so those come from the label. They don't come from BMI or ASCAP or CSAC. And I'm a BMI writer. So let's see, here we go. Fourth quarter. All right. And I mean, it's cool. I remember going over to my friend Tom Howard's house, and he had a big stack of, so how many pages is this? This is 152 pages of royalties. This royalty statement, 152 pages. But there are pages and pages and pages where it's like 1 penny, 1 penny, 1 penny, 1 penny. But I remember looking at my friend Tom's, and it's like, it was that. It was 1 penny here, 1 penny there, 12 cents there, 12 cents there, 24 cents. He wrote a lot of music for, worked for this company doing music for, oh, what happened to OBS? Where is it? There it is. Weird. I hit it accidentally. Sorry. He had a lot of music on kind of those pseudo-documentary fundraisers for like World Vision and stuff, So it's like I would go and work for him a little bit every now and then. Play. My first mandolin session was with him and stuff. You'd look at it and go, oh, okay, played the song, his music played from midnight to, 12:30 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma on channel 12, and you got 24 cents. And like, oh gosh. But it was a stack this thick of pages. And I got to the bottom, it said $20,000. And that was for a quarter. And I was like, oh, I get it. This is how it works, and it's a numbers game. So let me just see. I've got, where is it? Here we go. Oh, here, I can look up Denmark. Street Outlaws is in Denmark. Let's see my total from Denmark. Or Netherlands. Let me see let me do Netherlands. Okay. Wow. Just keeps going. Keeps going and going and going and going and going. Dang. Oh, Treetop Cat Rescue. Okay, so one of my songs played there in Denmark. I made 13 cents. Let's see, but I'm still in Denmark. Ultimate Beastmaster. That was a show that I wrote music for. The Wheel. I wrote music for The Wheel. Okay, Denmark. Oh, it doesn't say a total. Oh, I thought it would say a total after every. Oh, wait, maybe at the end of the statement. Oh, admin services, OBO, before. Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't notice this. So they do know that. Okay, so I guess that's cool. That important message: royalties listed in administrative BMI are calculated based on instructions the financial information provided to BMI by your music publisher and related to your publishing. Blah blah blah. Well, that's kind of cool. So I guess they. my publisher is getting me more money on my BMI, which is cool. That's one of the advantages. So there's an extra $81 here for that. But here's, let's see, Pandora Plus. Let me see if I can find Pandora. Oh, okay, so total, let's see, the Netherlands in here. Netherlands. Total, let's see, film. Oh, well, you know, not bad. Not bad from the Netherlands. So from the Netherlands, I have 3 categories here. I've got, for film, I got $30. From general, I got $90. And from various, I got $2. Norway actually pays really well because a big part of their income comes from pop production. A big part of their, you know, I got a little bit of money from Philippines, Peru, Norway, Romania, South Korea, Spain. Sweden pays really good. Israel pays really good. Japan pays really good. Oh, yeah, Japan, I've got some music on TV in Japan, though, too. Let's see, Denmark pays really good. Brazil pays great. No, wait, not Brazil, sorry. Canada. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I got a lot of music in Canada. So, yeah, it's, you know, but it's most of my income is from the United States. Okay, so let me just do a search for Pandora because I'm kind of curious. So from Pandora, for ETA, I made $1. So Pandora's not generating a lot. So my total Pandora, looks like Pandora paid $1.30 for all my songs on Pandora. Let me see, but there may be more. Hold on a second. Next. Pandora Plus, I paid 13 cents. Oh, and that's in that admin thing. So that's yeah, so that's weird. Okay, so that may be something else. Anyway. So yeah, it's nickels and dimes, and they just add up to actual real money that I can pay my mortgage with. But it's taken years, and the nice thing is that, you know, potentially it'll pay Beth when I'm gone and the kids when we're both gone a little bit. I have a friend whose grandfather wrote a lot of TV shows. He wrote half of the Gilligan's Island episodes. He created and wrote all the Dobie Gillis shows. He wrote Milton Berle shows, which don't really make any money, but Gilligan's Island still spends. And so my friend will get, because he's one of like the grandkids, and so they have to write checks to all the grandkids now or something. It's hilarious. So he gets, you know, they get a check every quarter for, you know, $10 or something like that, you know. But it's split so many ways. Okay, question for Tom. You reckon a brand for soundproof board I can buy? Oh yeah, those. You're right. That's not something that I had to gear. Let's see. Where did I get those? A friend of mine who does build studios, works for Universal Studios. Okay, and keep in mind, Universal Studios is Universal Studios the park, Universal Recording Studios, Universal Film Studios, and TV Studios, which is a huge complex. He is in charge of all the recording studios there in all of these places. And so he recommended this company. Let me see. I'm going to probably have to search my, what are they called? I have to search, I don't want to search my mail. Baffle? Now I can delete this. Delete that. No, sound is going to be too common. Proof. What are they called? And you can even put photos on them if you want. They'll do that. You know what? Maybe I saved it here. Sorry, I don't remember. In fact, I thought about maybe ordering some more at some point. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. just checking. Yeah, this is okay. Let me just check real quick the emails. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So the shipping can be the most expensive part. I think all these panels. Well, shipping was $63. All the panels total with shipping and everything was $325. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. Right. These I have 4 of the same size, and I have a big one. I could probably put another one there. I didn't want to put one over here because I thought I might actually. Oh, that looks like Josh. What the heck? Huh. Okay, so here's the link. This is actually good. If anybody wants this stuff, this is good. Fairly easy to hang. My friend Jim helped me, and of course he used a level and everything. So it's basically 2 mounting brackets, and then you hang them on that. And they're very light. They're very light. And you can choose whatever color you want, patterns. You can even upload and different fabrics. I just kept it real simple, gray. I didn't want anything I'd get tired of. If I did red or yellow or something, I figured I'd get just my eyes would get tired. So I went with kind of a boring gray with kind of a nice fabric texture, though. Let's see. And you can get samples. I think I got samples. You have to pay for them. But I think mine were the executive. But you could do suede, but I just felt like suede was just... And then something called DMD. Oh, yeah. They're a penny a piece for samples, but you pay for shipping. So they're pretty cool company, and it's all made in the States, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, if I pulled up my previous orders, let's see, what color did I get? Graphite, and they still have it. So my color was graphite, but most of the colors they have are pretty earthy tones, grays to white to black and grays, and then they have like a kind of an orangey red called papaya. And then they have like tan and wheat and linen. I almost went with linen. Linen and granite and graphite were the 3. Granite was really nice. Linen was nice. I could maybe get granite and it would look fine with the graphite that I got. But the problem with ordering something now is that I might be spent $60 on it, but it would end up being $50 for shipping or $60 for shipping or something. It would end up, the shipping is almost as much as SG. What does SG stand for? Oh, you like the one with the SG on it? Oh, I may release a song that I sing on. Well, Joe. Yeah, I mean, occasionally I will sing, but I'm not. I never like the sound of my voice. So if I'm producing, I'm just not gonna. This is not gonna be a thing that I'm gonna do. So what the SG on it? Or are you looking at the website there, Max? Do they have one with a picture that's an SG? Oh, is that an SG? No, they've got one with Strat. Let's see. It's not quite. I don't think that's an SG. Well, if we're looking at the same thing, I don't know. It says orange guitar. Yeah. I just wouldn't get I wouldn't get a picture. Well, you can upload your picture. I think you can do your own picture, but yeah, I wouldn't get one that was a picture. It's just. Nah. Yeah, that's just not something that's going to happen. So, let's see. Yeah, it's a guitar. Yeah, I would anything that's going to look dated. These are not going to look dated. It's going to look standard from here until I die. Oh, that's what SG stands for. Standard Gibson. I had no idea what SG stood for. Ultimately, it's a Les Paul. I think SGs are Les Pauls. That's what Les Pauls became. And then because Les Paul didn't like the design of the Les Paul, the original Les Paul. He liked the SG. I think the SG was his design. McCarty, was it McCarty? Was that his name? He designed the Les Paul and the original Les Paul, and Les Paul didn't like it. And McCarty worked for Gibson, I think, and so Les Paul didn't work for Gibson. He was just a famous guitar player that was inventing, inventor, and they wanted to release a guitar that was a Les Paul, which I think the first Les Paul was 1955. So, right? What? You mean like this, huh? Yeah, they can. They will tell. I think they. I think it makes. I think they said you can upload a photo. The problem is it would have to be because it's going to be a big. It's going to be big, so it would have to be a pretty high quality photo. Let me see. I could be wrong on that. Maybe you can only do their photos, but and they don't have very many to choose from. I see 7. But I didn't even consider that because I knew that it would look dated. I am thinking about putting up some photos on my wall here, but just photos of Europe and stuff like that. Of me and the kids, Beth in Europe or something, or I don't know. Just I was probably going to have them put in black and white and print them up because I've got room for them. But I don't know. I also don't want things rattling when I'm playing music loud, so. Yeah, the black guitar that I have it's in my gig bag right now, but that's an SG. I use it a lot for some of the game things I do. If they say, oh, it kind of sounds like we want something that sounds like AC/DC, I get the SG out because that's what what's his name played. Angus Young played SG a lot of times. So let's see. Yeah, you want to put my face on the... We better get a higher resolution face than that, but... Yeah, solid colors just, to me, work good. And the colors, like I said, the executive line, if you look at the executive, that's what I told you what I got. But it was tough. I really was struggling with... Let's see. How's our products? Yeah, and they even have, I mean, they've got quite a, you could do like patterns and stuff on the wall. That's really common. I didn't really do that. Oh, you can get boxes for them too, because the box is a bass trap. You can also get specific bass traps that go in corners, things like that. I just went with basic panels to cut back on reflection. That was my main goal. I'm not mixing records. I'm just recording guitar. So, how did I get to? Oh yeah. Okay. So if you click on Get Samples, you can see click on Executive, and you've got the different colors. I don't know if it just clicks on that. So. So let's see, if I go here. Yeah, so you can, Bone was another one. Caramel, I didn't really, Caramel's kind of nice. But yeah, I went with minor graphite. Granite was good. Linen was really nice. Linen was beautiful. I almost went linen. But I was just afraid that, that little bit of brown might just get a little dated looking or something. Wheat was nice. White, I wasn't going to use in case I got them dirty or something. I didn't want that. So black, I wasn't going to do. That would be too depressing. Blue-gray wasn't bad. But I got, because it didn't cost much. I think I had him send almost every one of those colors except for the papyrus and the white. So, yeah. It's and it's great for cutting off on reflections. Makes the room a little quieter. Makes my noise not quite go out to other. If I'm making noise in here, it's a little quieter for everybody else outside. Another reason. So. Yeah, and I have a friend that would make me panels if I wanted him to, but I don't mind buying them from a company. Well, he would do it for free, and I don't really want someone to do something for me for free. So, except Bruce making me my. That's another thing. If you aren't on the Discord, I mean, yeah, the Discord. It's the links up there. You can go there and see the guitar build. Let's see, where is that? Oh, there it is. Tom CBG build. See how that's coming. See, I haven't had an update in a while, so Bruce is busy man. So, but fascinating. Maybe he decided to smoke the cigars because you left the cigars in the box, right, Bruce? So, yeah, gray is This is again. I think this is the. Mine. It says granite and. So it looks good. It's textured. You can see in the thing, it's got like a little texture to it and thing. And the depth on these, I think these are 2 inches, by the way. 2 inches, and the panel size, I can tell you, it's in the email. These are 36 by 24 by 2. And then I got one 48 by 24 by 2 that I hung over there on a long wall behind a door. Or not behind a door, but if the door is open, it's behind a door. I didn't put one here. Can you see over here? Yeah. So I didn't put one here. What I might do is I might actually put a coat hook here on this door so that I can hang. See how I have stuff hung here? This actually acts as a bit of a sound deflector, to have sweatshirts and flannel shirts hung there. It cuts back a little bit. I've got those on the back of my door, so that cuts back. I don't need to put panels on doors, but you could do that if you wanted to go crazy with it. But I got so my total bill on that was $325.49 with shipping. Shipping was $63 because it comes in a giant box. I got four of the 36 by 24 by 2, so the 3 by 2 by 2, so 3 feet by 2 feet by 2 inches, and one of the 4 feet by 2 feet by 2 inches. That's what I got. And like I said, I wish I'd kind of gotten one more of the. I could have gotten a long one, maybe another long one for this, but it was right when we bought the house. I was paranoid about spending money. I was afraid I was going to have like some major bills. So, yeah, Holly, I should run too. This has been going on a long time. So next Monday, and I set it up in my calendar. I'm getting reminders now, so that's good. Next Monday, we will do full review of all 6 strings. No chords. I'm not going to do chords again next week, but we're going to start implementing 8th notes. And I'm going to really try to keep it real simple. So it might be a bit of a boring lesson, but it'll be a good review. And then I'll probably do more of the same the next week. Maybe bring in some chord stuff where we do some 8th notes and then chords. The other thing we could talk about, which is probably really good, is as we get into 8th notes and we start to get into syncopated rhythms, we're going to maybe do some rhythm charts, okay? So there won't be notes. They'll just be rhythms. So you won't have to read any single notes, but you will have to play chords. Like I may put, G7, and you'll have to read that and that kind of thing. So you can see what that would look like. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. That's very, very common use of reading knowledge, music reading knowledge. So. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Well, Catherine, it definitely when you have one of those boxes like this where you can, it's like a soundproof thing. It gets rid of reflections, and so it definitely makes it sound like it much better because reflections are really difficult when you use those things because reflections are really impossible to get rid of when you're mixing a record. So you want to get rid of those. You might want to add reverb or something to it, and that will help get rid of that. So if you have the ability to add a little bit of reverb, like a small room reverb, and just kind of goose it in a little bit, that will make it sound less like that you're right in their ears. So I don't know if you have that ability. It might be a setting in the software you use, and it might have an ability to add reverb. But definitely, if you get too much room sound, and I'm sure I know I get it here, but if you watch my videos I made, like the basic chords in E tuning, open E tuning, I did 2 years ago before I had the panels up when we first moved into the house. You watch that video, and boy, you can hear the room. And then like you go 2 videos later where I got rid of it. And I'm going to try, maybe today I'm going to work on a video. I'm working on another 5 songs with 2 chords. I'm not going to tell you the songs yet, but I'm trying to kind of mix it up a little bit. But help me. No, I'm live casting today. I didn't say anything about that. I don't, just Mondays right now. Mondays at 9 a.m. LA time. But the what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I don't know. You might want to experiment with seeing if you can add a little bit of reverb to your what you're sending your students. It won't be so weird. So anyway, thank you everybody. Thanks Pepper so much. You be safe. Get out there, have some fun. Bye Max. Bye Dennis. Help me. Thank you. David Sillers, Aslan is back in the house. So how did we do? Let's see. We peaked at 31-ish, 31. Yeah, that was for a second. We kind of peaked at about an hour in, and then it's been a slow drop off as I put the guitar down. So I get that. It took a while to get for us. It took us a good 15 minutes to get to 25, so that was weird. But I would have thought on a holiday, but people are doing fun stuff. And it's just a holiday in the States. It's obviously not a holiday in Europe. So, okay. Oh, Lena, God bless you. Thank you so much. Let me know what you order on those. They're pretty cool. I mean, really made a huge difference. I mean, it's like nothing. It's really, really huge difference. So I think you'll be very, very happy. I thought they were a very good company. I think they're in Massachusetts. It says where they going to, where are they coming from? See, small orders, standard products, 2 to 5 business days. Large custom, 7 to 10 business days. Acoustic art, 2 to 3 weeks. So, anyway, yeah, it probably says on their website where they're located. It seemed like they were in Connecticut or Massachusetts or something like that. Contact. Oh, it says mailing address is Tampa. Weird. Okay, I didn't realize they were in Tampa. And on a side note, Lena. On the side note, just so you know, they smelled like a new product. Okay, I've gotten some stuff from overseas where you open the box and you're like, whoa, what is that smell? You have to take the box outside. But yeah, it just smelled like new fabric, so it was a good smell when I opened it up. When I opened the big box up, if that makes sense. I don't know if that kind of stuff bothers you, but you've got a big room, I think. It's approximately 100 square feet, so that's 10 by 10. Well, this is bigger. This is bigger than 10 by 10, but not much. This is a pretty small room. So yeah, you might need 4 or 5. You got to be kind of strategic. Oh, and that was the thing. My friend that did those studios, not only did he recommend this company, he told me where to put the panels. And the reason I put 2 there is because I can use that as a vocal booth. If I move my chair, I can set up a mic there and a singer can sing. But really, I've never used it. When Kelly's come over to sing, she just stands here and sings, and we both have in-ears. And so that is, but it did definitely cut back on reflections, okay? And sometimes if you got a good sound, sometimes you don't want, you want the sound of a room, but that's not usually the case for any of the kind of things we do, so. And a small room is never going to really sound very good. Big rooms can sound really good. But also big rooms can sound the same on everything you do. I had
my band I had with Beth and some friends back when we first got married, we recorded 2 records in the same big church room, and both records had the same sound. It was like this reverb. You could not de-reverb the record. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. I am going to end stream. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk later. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Holly, and thank you, Bruce, for moderating. And we will pick up on Monday with some eighth notes and review. Okay, thanks. Bye.